Hello and welcome to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be taking a look at the demo for the upcoming game Strange Antiquities. Now this is a sequel to Strange Horticulture, which came out, I think it may have been 22 or 23. I played it on the channel, enjoyed it a lot. It's basically, it's a puzzle game, but an interesting one, kind of a cross between a puzzle and a detective game, I guess. And in Strange Horticulture, at least, you have a bunch of unidentified exotic plants in your shop, and you have to identify them through clues that you receive and other stuff. It was very interesting. I enjoyed it a lot, as I said. Let's see what the sequel's going to be all about. I'm going to start a new playthrough here. I did go in just to have a little play around in the first day or two, just to see kind of how it works. It's looking good so far, I think. But as a thaumaturge's apprentice, which is what we are, there's a lot to learn. Every object must be treated with care, and it is important to identify the harmful from the harmless, the potent from the mild. It was only supposed to be a temporary arrangement when Eli left the shop, Strange Antiquities, in my hands. None of us knew that by then the pendulum was already swinging with a terrible certainty that could not be stopped. The ravens were an omen, a circling unkindness of black wings and cheerless cries that seemed, even then, to signal the start of a rising dread. Day 1, Thursday. So what's quite interesting is that I'll get rid of the tooltip. Is that it takes place in the same town as Strange Horticulture. In fact, if I locate my map, which is in one of these drawers, here we go, and open it up, it's Undermere. And if we look at down the list on the right hand side, we see Strange Horticulture number 2. That's our shop there. Our previous shop at least. We are 29 though. We are down here in this one. Let's start off by having a look. There's a note here that's quite useful. Reminder, I've stored a couple of items in the cellar of the wine merchant next door. So if we click explore, we'll zoom in on the map. So we're here. We have a choice of a couple of places, but this one literally is attached to our building, so we'll click that. The proprietor, Mrs. Cranmore, begrudgingly grants me access to the cellar when I explain that I'm from Strange Antiquities next door. Yeah, well, you'd take the lot of them out of here, would you? Can't say no to Eli after all he's done for me. But I don't like the thought of those unnaturals in my cellar. So she's given us some things. I think these are all artifacts. So for now, I'm just going to drop them on the shelves. We'll have a look at that stuff in a sec. Let's just quickly go back down here. I don't know what this is. I can archive that though. I'm going to pop that just out there for now, in case we need it. In this drawer we've got something on thalamic fields. All thalamic objects produce... Now I didn't get as far as discovering what that's all about, so I'm just going to leave that in that drawer for now. But these are also a couple of artifacts for us here, so I'm just going to bring those out. And yeah, so basically we have to kind of narrow down what these things are. We'll get the means to do that shortly. Let's just stroke the cat, whose name is Jupiter, I think, and start. Eli, so this is the shop's owner.
I've been called away to assist in an urgent matter in Ravenglass and must leave at once. I am leaving the shop in your care, with some reluctance, I might add. Make use of my reference materials. Here, take this. There's an index in the back that may be useful to you. If in any doubt, study it carefully. And remember that there are some powerful artifacts here. Under no circumstances should you seek entry to any locked drawers, doors, or cupboards. He's probably referring to this. Now, I haven't found a key for this yet. In fact, safe is not to touch anything at all. I'll be back in a few days.
So off he goes. So we have this book now. I'm just going to kind of pop it in here. And we can open this up and we have list of the different types of artifact. There is an index which can also be used to kind of help us hone in on the right thing. I guess you could go through and maybe top load it. We're trying to work out what a lot of these things are, but we're going to start bringing in customers. Thomas Pope.
Oh, congratulations. Today is the day you meet the great Thomas Pope. That's me.
I'm a man of two loves, fresh mountain air and a little white dog called Hamish. But I reserve some room for laughter among friends and shops with cats in them. If you would be so kind, I'm looking for a replacement for my hunter's boon.
Okay, so he's asked us for something. So let's start with looking up here. So we have a page for Hunter's Boon. A Hunter's Boon is a primitive item. They grant the power of the predator, enhancing perception and agility. They are made from trophies taken from slain beasts, with those from the deadliest predators being the most prized. They are simple items, without embellishment. But this one's quite a simple one to get us off the mark with. Basically, there's only really one potential candidate here. It's this one. So if we right-click, we can, slightly different to the first game, we could actually have sensory clues on this. So we know it's a yellowy white colour, yellowy brown. Go to touch. Smooth with hard ridges. The tooth here is smooth. Doesn't really smell of anything, and it doesn't really have any sort of psychic. Oh, it gives me a sensation of power. So I'm pretty confident in saying this is the Hunter's Boon, and not only because I've played this day before. There we go. So we'll come out, we've labelled that now, and we can just drop this into his little thing there. We'll use item. Yeah, it's a tiger's tooth. So he's given us some more pages for our book. Just add them there. Bring the next. Jack Hungerford.
Ooh, the nights are drawing in again. Dark shadows hide dark deeds, or so my father always used to say. Seems like the shadows have grown darker since he passed 2 winters gone. Creeping dark is set up in my house. I am told a shadow hold will draw it out.
Now let's look up a shadow hold and see what that is. Let's go back to the contents. A shadow hold or oshardic vessel is a container of any kind, sometimes a jar or a bottle or some sort of a box. It can be used to contain an oshadic spirit, the manifestation known as creeping dark, pulling it from the shadows like poison from a wound. They're decorated with an elaborate design called a shadow catcher, and again, if we come out of here, we will see one object on these shelves that is a very, very good candidate for this, and it's this bottle here with a very similar design. We can have a look. It's got a cork made of clay, spongy cork, markings carved in. It's got a pungent smell, but nothing particularly sensory of it, but I know it's the right one. So we're going to do... Oh, hang on. Why have I picked up this magnifying glass? I didn't want that. Right, so we're going to give this to Jack. Sunbond. Okay. Got the postman.
Hey, what's with all these ravens flying about Undermere today? I can't remember as ever seeing anything like it. Not a good day to be the sort who believes in dark omens. A letter for you.
Have a look. From Charlie Weathers. We discovered some papers in a hidden desk drawer in the boatyard last night. Mr. Jones almost threw them in the fire pit, but I asked to take a look at them first. That man does like to burn things. They look old. Maybe there's nothing of much use here, but I thought of you when I came across an entry on the shin. So we're looking for the boatyard. So let's pop back down to our map and have a look. Number 8, the boatyard. So that's here. Go over. The yard has seen better days. A mass of broken and rotten timber covers most of the outdoor space that isn't taken up by upturned boats, slowly being claimed by the weeds. In the middle of all this, a man looks up from repairing a small rowing boat.
Oh, you must be from Strange Antiquities,
he says with a smile. He takes me into the dilapidated office where 2 metal buckets collect drips of brown water, and a thin window pane rattles with every footstep. He pulls a sheaf of browned papers out of a desk drawer and places them gently in my hands. So we've got something for sleep vessel. I'm not sure what that is, but apparently as an afterthought and somewhat reluctantly, the man gives me something else as I'm leaving.
Well, I've no use for it, he says. Don't even know what it's for.
Okay, so we've got a new artifact as well. Why don't we pop that over there? Probably archive that. Now this is our sort of compendium of characters that we've met. Give the cat a little stroke. And let's call someone in. Julia Braddock. Ah, Jupiter, we meet again. Our paths crossed late last night on Princes Street. We shared a moment before he slunk off into the dark, on important business, no doubt. I wonder if you can help me. I'm visiting my grandmother later, and I wanted to bring her something. She lives all alone on the edge of town out on Clanbrook Road, and I don't always manage to get out there as often as I'd like. I thought maybe a moon heart would bring her some comfort. Alright, so let's have a look for moon heart then. Now this doesn't have an entry, so let's go to the index. Maybe we'll look up moon. Moon heart, a Selenic totem. Let's call this up. These carved totems, more commonly known as moon hearts, can be imbued with a sentiment or feeling such as love or joy, and then held tightly to recall the same feeling. They sometimes feature crescent shapes associated with both the Selenic and Noctic disciplines. Indeed, the form of the item itself will often have a connection to either the moon or the night. Now, anything we can see here? I mean, there's the bat. It's not carved, though. If I look up the bat, it is a gemstone, so that's not carved. We have this, but this isn't really related to anything to do with the night. However, this, we have a quick look at it. So it's made of wood. It's got like a little crescent shape on it. It's an owl, obviously related to the night. And on the inner perception, it says, I'm overcome by a warm, loving emotion. So this is a Selenic totem. So let's give that to Julia. Carved, owl associated with the night. Got a crescent shape, indeed. Evocant. Edmund Bishop.
Oh, hello, the behaviour of these ravens is disturbing to say the least. As a rule, they only come together to feed. Ravens are omnivores, carrion eaters mostly, but they'll take anything they can get their talons into. And they'll kill if necessary. I didn't plan on dropping in today, but there's something happening out there, and I'd like to know what. The voice of Serenos, or Cernanos, might help put me at my ease, or it might do the opposite.
Voice of Serenos. Okay, Cernanos, wearing his torque. A torque, okay. The name Voice of Cernanos is used to refer to any bronze torque that has certain imbued properties. With skills, such an item can be used to read the patterns of nature that are otherwise hidden to us. Cernanos is a pagan god of the forest and nature, typically depicted as a man with the antlers of a stag and often wearing or holding a torque, which is kind of the almost circular necklace type thing he's wearing. Now that we do have something that matches this description, and it's this. So looking at it will tell us that it is bronze, uneven texture, doesn't really smell. Nothing, doesn't really have any sense of anything, but this is a Voice of Cernanos. There we go. So we can give that to Edmund. End day. Yep, let's do that. Let's move on. The black mare thundered through the icy rain, shining wet in the silver moonlight. A cloaked rider was exhausted, cold, and soaked to the bone. He knew he would not survive the night if he did not reach Backbarrow. I'm not quite sure what this is, but we get to kind of trace the outline of a shape by moving our mouse. An escaped prisoner ran northwest. He hid me in the first building he came to. So these things are little clues that we get for the following days. So just to remind ourselves, an escaped prisoner. So we look on here and we go, is there a prison? Now there's two options here that I found. There's the old jail. Is there two options? I can't remember. There might be another one that's got two options. But anyway, it's the old jail. I guess there's two options he could have run to. Now this one I would say is northwest, but that actually is the wrong option. And I guess if you kind of look closely at it, it isn't... it's not directly diagonal from the jail. The actual one we want is here, so we click on that. The dilapidated warehouse is dark and imposing, and the struggling flame of my lantern does little to pierce its depths. I slowly search through its contents with a sense of despair, wondering if I'm even in the right place at all. when suddenly and unexpectedly I uncover something of value. More relieved than elated, I take the trinket back to the shop for further study and a warm drink. And we got... ooh. Quite macabre. Let's pop you here for now. Move the plants, maybe. A bit more room. Now, Verona Green was in Strange Horticulture, so this is kind of happening at around the same time, I think.
Ah, well, that's just perfect. Undermere fizzing with fear over these ravens, and the thaumaturge has left his apprentice in charge. Oh, sorry, my dear, that was rude. Pay no attention to me. I'm an old lady who got out on the wrong side of bed. These ravens have got under my skin is all. Please do let Eli know that I was looking for him next time you see him, and pass on my thanks for letting me borrow his copy of Hermetic Symbology.
Okay, so she's given us another book. Now this one, I'm guessing, is going to come in handy in later days for identifying certain things on our antiquities, but I haven't actually, in my very limited time playing it so far, did not come across a use for that, which isn't to say that there won't be one. Tess Sherwood. I feel paralysed. I have no job, no partner, no friends, no prospects. I heard a horned shackle might be the answer. Okay, let's have a look for that. Horned shackles are used to bring about change in one's life, bestowing the ability to overcome personal demons. In use, the horns are rubbed between one's fingers, causing them to become worn smooth over the ears. Now, this worn smooth is the key info here, because we have quite a few things here that could qualify as one of these. If we have a look at one that it isn't, for example, there's this. So if I do a sense of touch on the horns, these will say it's hard and somewhat rough, so that's telling us it's not that. If I look at this one which has horns, it will tell us that it's ridged. The head is smooth, but those are not the horns. It's over here. We've got one here, which, again, hard and somewhat rough. So the actual one we want is this. So even though it didn't look a lot like the picture, if we look at the horns... Oh, it's not this one, is it? Hang on. Which one is it? It's this one, I think, actually. So if I do the horns, it'll say, this part feels smooth. This part is rough and pitted. So this is actually the one we want. So this is the horned shackle. Okay. Let's give this to Tess. Vestiger.
At least the weather's looking a little better out there today.
From John Royston. Good day. You might be interested to hear that my plough overturned a strange-looking object yesterday. Come to the farm and it's yours, for the right price, of course. So this is the one where you get a couple of choices, because if I zoom in on the map here, there's Greywick Farm, number 1, that's a farm, but it's Greywick Farm. If we sort of keep looking down towards the end, we find Royston Farm. This guy was John Royston, so that's him. John grins as I struggle to hide my obvious interest in the item he shows me. Any hope that he might not be fully aware of its value quickly evaporates, and after a lengthy negotiation I reluctantly hand over the amount he originally asked for. Okay. Why don't we maybe hang that up there? We can archive that. Stanley Hume.
I want an Ossic ring. Ossic. That's a pleasing word to hold on the tongue.
Okay, creepy guy. Ossic ring. These somewhat macabre objects were originally made as offerings to the goddess Korchen, but the practice fell out of favour as belief waned. They're hard to come across now, but they're occasionally sought out for their ability to keep vermin at bay. Some say that they can hear Korchen's unearthly hiss when they hold an Ossic ring up to their ear. Now, reading the Steam forum for the demo, it seems like a lot of people missed this, largely because it's one of the things that was in that drawer at the very beginning, and it's this. So if it's made of bones, which is macabre, and in fact, if we listen to it, a soft sound like a serpent's whisper emanates from within, so that tells you this is an Ossic ring. So we'll give this to the guy. Holgen Grimm. Okay. Daisy.
A friend of mine, or former friend I should say, has been stealing jewellery from me. 3 necklaces have gone missing over the past few weeks, including one that was a gift from my late grandmother. Do you have a suitable pendant that I could leave lying out for her to find that will teach her a lesson and make sure it never happens again?
So we have a choice here. We can give her one of 2 things to sort of satisfy her demands. One of which is a binding seed. These items are made of 2 distinct materials, representing the mentic and the wixic, the mind and the body. The winding path, the mind, is described by a spiral encompassing the body, the seed. Binding seed is a form of punishment that amplifies feelings of guilt and shame. So this is kind of a maze-like version that kind of shows the thing. And then the other one was Zia. One about the neck to place them close to the heart. These innocent-looking items instill a sense of fear and paranoia that can be difficult to remove. Zias are made from any single material except wood or clay. They typically have no symbol or other writings upon their surface. Now, I'm going to go with the binding seed, which is what I did previously. So this time we're looking for a spiral made of 2 materials, and it's this one. See, it's wood, stone. I mean, it doesn't really have a lot going for it, apart from I don't like how this makes me feel. But that's another clue that it's the right thing. So this is a binding seed. Oop, binding cease. There we go. Shield charm. Some of these entries, I don't know quite where they're getting added. I mean, what's this? Oh, I can move the candles about. Is there? There's not like a sort of secret thing related to these candles, is there? No. But there is. We can make something pop out here. I have no idea what it's used for, but if we do that, that comes out. I haven't found anything to put in there yet. Can you? Oh, okay. Have I? Ooh. Have I got anything that shape? This isn't that shape. It doesn't look like we're going to get any. Okay, we'll bear that in mind for another time. Right, who's next?
They found a man just now in that house where all them ravens were. I wish I hadn't seen, but I did. He was sheet white, but it was his eyes that are going to give me nightmares. All black they were. It was like he wasn't there anymore. I don't need to wait around for another sign. I'm taking my family to Sedberg, and I'll be taking a libula to see us safely through.
Libula. Now, I haven't got this far, so I don't know what anything is after this point. We have libula. Libulae are purported to offer reassurance in time of upheaval and change, but they are not held in high regard by most scholars of the occult. That being said, an imbuement of wisdom shows that a libula is not merely decorative. There is power in symbology. Okay, so this might be the new book that we've got. So we're looking for wisdom in our symbols book. Let's have a look. Don't have an index here. Hang on. I don't think it's anything. Those we're kind of looking for wisdom. It's got like a little sort of crown thing on it. Okay. Metal, seasons, weather. Okay. So if we've got anything that's got that kind of shape. This. We look at that. It's got the wisdom shape in the middle. I don't know that it's that, so I'm not going to name it for now. But let's pop it in and see if that's what he wants. Yeah. Bears and symbol of wisdom. There we go. Witch's finger. Right, let's label this now. All right, looks like that's day over. Let's give the cat a little pet. Giddy. Let's end the day. Oh, that was the demo. So I whizzed through that quite quickly. I did. My first playthrough was a lot more experimentation and sort of failing and stuff. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that. Like I said, I enjoyed Strange Horticulture. I like these kind of detective games, something where you have to, stretch the old grade matter a little bit, and you know, decode clues and stuff. Obviously, this was only the first couple of days, so it started us off quite gently, I think. But I'm looking at that symbology stuff. I'm going to guess there's, if we look to the right, there was like a weighing scales with different weights you can put down. So I'm guessing some items are going to have a particular weight range, maybe, to tell you what they are. But I'm looking forward to diving in and playing more. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see on the channel. Did you watch Strange Horticulture on Boring Dead Gaming? And if so, hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully you look forward to this, but let me know, as I said, in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, if you could hit that like button, that'd be fantastic. And if you're watching this and not yet subscribed to the channel, it'd be amazing if you could do that too. So I hope to see you elsewhere on Boring Dead Gaming for other games and other playthroughs. Bye for now.